So, Burn, it's ended up being a goalless draw, first draw of the season. Probably wasn't the result you was expecting or the performance you was expecting, possibly, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. But what did you make of it out there?
I think we've done everything we can do to try and win a game of football. After the keeper gets man of the match, made some great saves. I don't feel like they ever was going to win the game. Again, no disrespect to them, but we thought we defended really well. And if we can't win a game of football, then we certainly don't lose it. And that's probably the mentality today. We'll take the point and we'll move on.
I was going to say, for the large portions, if not the whole thing, we were the team that looked like we were going to win this game.
Yeah, and we're at home and we're playing against a side that have come a long way. We're favourites to win the game, but it don't always work like that. But I think you've got to pay credit where credit's due. I think the keeper's had an outstanding game. He's a big old boy. John Taylor's come and apologising, for his chance. We beg to differ on Jordan's goal. We believe it's well onside. But you get them results one week and they go against you the next. It's a long season. They don't always fall the right side for you. But this squad, or last year's squad, we probably lose that game 1-0. Which is really, really pleasing for myself and John, is that at no point today did we think that we'd lose the game. They're not a bad side. They've come up, they've flipped us. First half, they've frustrated us. The first half, I don't know how long the ball was in play, but it seemed to be really, really scrappy, stop-start. When you come into Radcliffe from Bedford, that's the type of game you want to turn it into. So credit where credit's due for that. They managed the game really well. We haven't played bad. We're not. I'm not stood here thinking we've had an off day. We've done everything we can do to try and win a game of football. And unfortunately, the number one has kept it as a sort of stalemate. So, yeah, we'll regroup. We've got to take the positives out of the game, and that's a point and a clean sheet. So, and we'll plan for Tuesday night now. Is
it a matter of this? Their game plan was not necessarily better than our game plan, but it just outdone ours.
Listen, it's hard for me to stand here and say we're gonna perform every single week. It doesn't work. Football doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at the elite level. But what we're showing signs of is a side that are hard to beat now. With as frustrated as it was first half, we got in at half time. We spoke about keeping 11 men on the pitch because there was a hell of a lot of bookings. He sends Greeny off for what he believes is simulation. Again, regardless of whether it was or it wasn't, he sent him off. And we still kick on, mine and John sides don't settle for a point. We kick on. We was going down the hill, so we had the momentum. And like you say, even late on, the save from Anthony Dudley. What a save! What a save! That's why I stand there disappointed, because you want 3 points, but it's not a massive sort of loss. 2 points. Maybe come the end of the season, that might be the difference. But as we stand in the table now and where we're at as a team, we're more than happy with what we're seeing.
I was going to say, you've alluded to it compared to last season to this season. We normally would have lost this fixture if this was this time last year, but it's a big credit to yourselves and the coaching staff that you put the work in over the summer and to see a result like this.
Things take time, we played Kidderminster last week and you hear the supporters, calling for the manager. Things take time. We finished. We didn't win in 10 last year. Our first 10 games we didn't win. Now people will say, they've got to go. Managers, supporters want managers out because he's not performing or they're not doing this. Things take time, and I think you look at the starting 11 today. There isn't much change from last year. We've added 2 or 3, 5 or 6 into the squad, but only 2 or 3 today. So the mentality in terms of what we are and what we where we were last year is night and day. And like I say, I've alluded to it twice. The most pleasing thing is the fact that we don't look like we're going to get beat. Now that might change Tuesday, that might change next Saturday, but I can only say what I'm seeing now. And we defensively look really well. Mateus has sort of reassured us massively, and Bedford have had some draws this year against good sides, so they're not a side that you expect to win. We know that this level of football, it's just on paper people, you should win today. Well, I disagree with that. It's we got to Kidderminster last week, nobody seen 5-1. We went to Oxford, nobody seen 5-1. We went to Bedford Town 5-0. Nobody sees that, and when it comes to fruition, people seem shocked. So we've had a really good run, and if today's a bit of a took the foot off the gas type of thing or complacency, we don't think that's the case. We just think we've been very unlucky not to get 3 points. Pay credit to Bedford because they was organised. They've done their own work on us. They flipped us, like I say, before the start of the game, which sometimes can become a shock, and really killed the momentum first half. So fair play to them. But yeah, we move on to Tuesday now.
I was going to say, looking ahead to Tuesday, obviously back here again against Darlington. Obviously, you would have done a little bit of work on him possibly on Thursday. I'm not 100% on that. I didn't turn up till later on. You probably watch a bit of tape on him before then. What we're thinking for it?
Another big football club. Great history between myself and John and Darlington. You know, we've gone toe to toe with them for the last 10 years, 12 years. A lot of history there between us. You know, they've had a lot of wins, we've had a lot of wins. So we've just got to sort of like say, dust ourselves down today, do the right things from now till Tuesday. Clark will get his match analysis out over the next 48 hours. We'll go through that. And again, we want to win every game, but a game that, again, Darlington coming 2.5 hours on a Tuesday night, we have to start well. If we start well, then we can put these sides to bed. The longer the game goes on and you get a foothold in, then experience comes through. That's what Darlington are. They've got an experienced manager with an experienced team, a lot of togetherness. But just another team for us, and something we know we look forward to, and hopefully we can get our 3 points.
Cheers, Bill.